Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Could you both tell us a bit about the concert, your upcoming concert?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we're the Fulltone Orchestra, and we're coming back to London at the Cadogan Hall, which is a fabulous venue. We've never played there before, but I know Kerry has. We've worked with Kerry previously, but this is our first proper indoor concert, so we're really excited to be both at Cadogan with Kerry in September, and cannot wait.
Amazing. And how do you both go about approaching, how you select the songs for the concert?
Well, that's kind of that's it. It's an ongoing discussion, really. I mean, I think what's always wonderful is when you've got someone who or a team that's so open to trying things and excited about doing new things. That's really great. And having this concert at the Cadogan. The Cadogan's gorgeous. And always performing with an orchestra is wonderful. So to do something a bit kind of movie glam, we wanted it to be like those special nights out when people used to like kind of dress up and go to the
Yeah,
theatre and
yeah.
watch something, and it feel like a special occasion. And I think whenever you have an orchestra and you do something like this, it has that element of a very special night out. And I think that's what you want to do. You want to hear people want to hear things that they know, but they also want to hear things that might go, oh, I haven't heard that for a long time.
Mm.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's what's really exciting me about this concert because, Kerry's a very busy, very popular lady doing lots and lots of things. But this is an opportunity to do perhaps some songs she's not done for a while or very often. And I think, it's great for our audiences and her fan base as well, just to see that something extra different, extra special, and that's what's making it so exciting. Really is.
Absolutely. Are you going to feature any songs from shows that you've been in? Any Wicked in there again?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's Wicked Central at the moment, isn't it? I mean,
It
everywhere is
is.
it because of the
The
movie.
movie.
There's a new hype about it, which is great, and that's wonderful, and it gives the music to a new audience, which is great. But I think this is going to be a little bit more old school glamour. I think a bit more classic. Um, I mean, I might be wrong. I might be talking out of turn, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be the odd musical in there. But we're thinking a bit kind of more Bond-esque, a bit more kind of Bond themes, maybe maybe kind of more classic songs that people that blend themselves so well with an orchestra. I think
Yeah.
people have heard me sing
Yeah.
those Wicked songs a million times, and that may be a discussion. It may go in the show, but I think, and it's hearing something new. I think, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so exciting when it's something fresh, something people haven't heard before, putting together with an orchestra. I think that's amazing. And I love something a bit more classic as well. Um, and what's it like as a singer when you hear the orchestra come together in that Sitzprobe kind of moment?
I mean, it never gets old. It's always one of those really exciting moments, because you listen and you learn the songs on your own with however you do it. I sit with my ear pods in, and I usually run when I'm learning songs, and I'm learning to some, I don't know, either a soundtrack or a piano version or whatever it is. And then when you actually get in and you hear the orchestra for the first time, it always is magical, and that never changes. And I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of orchestras, but that moment when you hear the songs for the first time, I mean, it takes your breath away. It really does. And then, there's a beautiful thing about having lots of people on stage together trying to do the best that they can for that one night only. And there's something really special about that, that it's a one-time thing. It even if you repeat the show like in a week or 2 weeks, for that moment, it's that group of people with those audience members, and that's only going to happen once, and that's really special. To do that with all those people is really fun.
No pressure. But it's so
Yeah.
magical. So
Well,
magical. Yeah. How do you
it's a big
both
team. I think there's safety in numbers. It's a team effort, and that's
yeah.
that's everybody matters. I think sometimes when you see an orchestra, you see a wall of people and you see lots of instruments. But it's such a team effort. It doesn't work without each individual piece, and we all have our own job to do. And that's what's the beauty of us all coming together.
It's so lovely when you all come together and form a lovely piece. I know that you've both had such amazing, extensive careers, but could you talk to us a little bit about that and some maybe standout moments that you've had?
Yeah, me. So
Shall
yeah,
I go
you
first?
go first. I'll be talking
Both of you.
I'll go first because my career is shorter than Kerry. So, do you know what? We started the orchestra about 8 years ago or so, and we've built it ourselves, and we've certainly grown momentum since the dreaded COVID and times and lockdowns and all that sort of thing. And the highlights for me are working with really good people. We've got a phrase that we use quite often, which is putting on great music with great people in great places. And we've really had a sense of that over the last couple of years. And when I was growing up, I idolized Aled Jones because I was a boy chorister at the same sort of time. And last year we got to work with him for the first time, and it's like an absolute dream come true. And then last year as well, we were really fortunate to meet Kerry for the first time, and we did a crazy project outside in a field in the middle of nowhere, and we rocked it, and it was absolutely brilliant. So my highlights are the people that we meet on the journey, and it's just every year we're meeting more people, and it's just getting I'm got goosebumps. It's just tingly. It's just lush.
Lovely. And Kerry?
Yeah, exactly that. It is all about the people, and it's when you meet new people as well, getting to experience, working with them and how they work is always exciting, and is always lovely. Like we had such a great time last year doing this concert, and then it was in a beautiful festival, and everybody was really happy, and we played them loads of Queen songs and rock songs, and you don't often hear rock songs with an orchestra, and it was just an electric night. And what was lovely about it was everybody was just so happy to be there. Everybody in the orchestra, everybody on stage. It was just everyone was just buzzing, and that was amazing. So yeah, it is all about the people. The places are wonderful, of course. It never gets old if I get to play like the Royal Albert Hall. That's always a joy. But also, I've done some of the best gigs in the smallest venues, because of the atmosphere and the people in the audience. And I'm sure that the Cadogan has such a great, it's kind of intimate, but in a beautiful concert setting. Everybody's quite close together, and that is magical. And that's to hear the orchestra and hear the show in there. It's going to be special. I think we're going to have a really nice time.
Yeah, so special. Do you have anyone in particular that you'd like to work with in the future, or any particular kind of ideas or shows in mind that you'd like to work on in the future?
Me? Should I go first?
Yeah, both of you.
I'll go first. You know what? I've been really fortunate to work with some amazing people, and some wonderful orchestras and some wonderful, I love it. People expect you to kind of say, big celebrities, and yeah, I'd love to, duet with Lady Gaga, but for me, my kind of co-stars are the joy. Working with my friends is always a joy. And obviously, I've worked a lot with Brian May over the years. That's been amazing. He's been a mentor and a support and a he's been brilliant to me over the years. And I got to work with Barry Manilow and Lorna Luft and Alfie Boe, Michael Ball. I mean, it's been really nice. There's lots of people, and I love it when something comes up that you don't see coming. That you don't, you end up on a job. I ended up on a job with Ricky Wilson and Marty Pello and Jason Donovan once when we did War of the Worlds, and you've never put all together in a regular concert, but for this particular show, we were all put together, and I love that. I like when you get to put together with people that you just don't see it coming. So hopefully a bit more of that.
Yes. Thank you. How do you prepare before a show? I wondered, vocally, physically, what are your pre-show ritual kind of things?
For me, I'm talking about loads here. I will shush in a minute. Um, for me, not so much. I mean, I just try. I lead quite a. I mean, because I work so much and I travel a lot and I'm constantly singing. I have to kind of look after myself. So I try and sleep lots. I work out. I drink lots of water. You know, it's kind of all or nothing for me. So the show, whatever the show is, takes precedence. So it's just everything is always geared up to that show. Like I'm a ship at the moment in the middle of the ocean, and you know I've been to the gym this morning. My show's this evening. I'm making sure that I eat and I drink lots of water, and your day is kind of consumed by the show, by the evening performance. And as much as I try not to do that, I can't help it because you're just completely focused on that evening performance, and that's how I've always been. Um, so I try not to do anything. I mean, they are my rituals, I guess. Just I work out. I get lots of air, fresh air, you know, drink loads of water. And because it's constantly like playing in the back of your mind, whatever you're going to do that evening is kind of like a distant, like little noise just playing in your mind. You can't switch off from it. So yeah, that's me. It's a bit consuming, really.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Have you got any particular venues in mind that are your favorite ones that you've performed in or played in, for example, as well, orchestra wise?
Um, but we're doing quite well at the moment in a lot of the cathedrals around the country, and those venues can be really atmospheric. They can be a nightmare acoustically sometimes. There can be challenges. Those buildings were built a long time ago. Some of them, and it's interesting. But I love the atmosphere that you can create. I am a bit fond of our summer festival that we do every year in a field in the middle of Devizes, in the middle of Wiltshire, in the middle of nowhere. um, we build an arena and we just create something. I'm quite fond of that. I'm slightly jealous of Kerry that she's done the Royal Albert Hall. That's on my to-do list. If anyone's listening one day, maybe. I'd love to do stuff like that, but I'm not fussed about doing cruise ships. I can say that much.
You wouldn't get on it. They wouldn't fit you. They wouldn't fit the orchestra on the stage.
To be fair, a cruise ship is something I'd love to do because I'm a performer myself and, auditioning and stuff at the moment. So, yes, it's something I'd.
Oh, it's a good way to travel and see the world. I mean, I don't do very many, to be fair. But there's this one I'm doing at the moment. It's called the Limelight Lounge, and it's kind of like an intimate setting on a ship. So I'm on for like a few days. But yeah, the venues. I mean, I like. Yes, of course, I like the Albert Hall, but I like the more obscure, intimate ones. I remember playing. Ryan and I did like on our first acoustic by candlelight tour. We played the church in Brighton. We played a few churches, and again, it's kind of like this. They're so atmospheric. There's an atmosphere, and you can't put your finger on it. So I kind of like the more obscure venues. I like playing outside, and I think it's nice when you find something a bit new that you haven't played before. And on my list is Carnegie Hall, because I've never played Carnegie Hall in New York. So we all have our bucket list,
Yeah.
theatres to play, and maybe the Sydney Opera House. I've not done that either.
Amazing. I won't keep you too long. But just before we go, have you got any advice for kind of graduates wanting to get into the theatre industry from either the orchestra point of view, musical directing, or the performance point of view? What's kind of your top tips there?
I've got a really quick one, which is from a musician's point of view, is build your network, build relationships with people. When you first start out, you've almost got to accept any gigs that come along. Nothing's too small. Just get yourself known, build relationships with other musicians and other organisations, and there'll be some that you don't really want to do and all the rest of it. But you'll find your path, you'll find your way, and if you network really well, and some musicians are quite sort of introvert almost, and they don't like to talk about themselves very much, but you've got to do that. You've got to network, build relationships, and then bigger, better gigs will always come along, and you'll find your way.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
Kerry?
yeah, that's brilliant. That's exactly the same, really. You've kind of got to be a people person because people want to work with nice people at the end of the day, you know, and it is a very small industry, and people do talk, and they you know, if you're working with somebody and they're lovely, and then somebody needs it, say, I don't know, a guitarist or something else, and you've just worked with somebody and you go, well, he, you know, he was just excellent. And it does happen like that. It really does. So you have to kind of be that nice person that everyone wants to work with. And, you know, people say to me, oh, how are you doing? You know, what's going on? And I say, yeah, still hustling. And I throw it away quite casually, you know, that kind of saying, but it's so true. You know, you're constantly hustling, you're constantly putting yourself out there, and seeing what's next, and doing the best job that you can, and talking to people and meeting people, and that gives you longevity. I think
Yeah.
that gives you a career as opposed to just a one job. And exactly, you know, you have to do a bit of everything. I think you have to try a bit of everything. You have to be that person that people want to work with, that people go, yeah, they're going to do a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Never stops.
Doesn't
Okay.
stop. Always hustling.